The book I chose to read is Countess In, Growing Up with Down Syndrome, written by Jason Kingsley and Mitchell Levitz. And this is a storyline all based off dialogues that the two have had between each other with their parents and doctors. And they are best friends 3 years apart, and their parents join them together through a Down syndrome support group. So the whole story is them sharing experiences in high school, middle school, relationships, religious beliefs, politics, and everything that they have passions about and everything that we would have passions about. But it's different because it's through the eyes of Down syndrome. And so this story just really shows how their lives relate to ours, even though we're oblivious to how they live. While researching Down syndrome, I found this really cool YouTube clip that basically shows families loving on their child that has Down syndrome and the children themselves saying, "I have a voice," because it shows that they break the stereotypes that doctors set for them when they were first born, like about a couple of decades ago when they said that they couldn't walk or talk, and this is just living proof that there are people just like us. So I thought that was really neat. What is Down syndrome? When researching Down syndrome, I found many definitions of what this vague this ability is, and the one that I enjoyed was from the National Down Syndrome Society website, and they say that it is a congenital disorder arising from a chromosome defect causing intellectual impairment and physical abnormalities, including short stature and a broad facial profile. It arises from a defect involving chromosome 21, usually an extra copy. So this definition is effective because it says that it's a disability formed off of having an extra chromosome, which is almost an exact copy of chromosome 21, and it causes just facial abnormalities and just stunt in growth and other just slow delays, including monumental processes. Also, I found some interesting facts while researching it. One interesting fact is 1 in 691 babies in the United States are born with Down syndrome, and this makes Down syndrome the most common genetic condition in the United States. Also, there's approximately 400,000 Americans having Down syndrome today, and about 6,000 babies with Down syndrome are born in a year. There are 3 types of Down syndrome. Trisomy 21, which is the most common because 90% of babies with Down syndrome are diagnosed with trisomy 21, which basically means you have 3 copies of chromosome 21. Mosaic Down syndrome, which is a rare form where the extra chromosome is only visual in parts of the cells of the individual. And translocation Down syndrome, which is similar to mosaic, however, you only have 45 chromosomes but have the genetic material of a person with 46. Now, one of the main characters in the story is Jason Kingsley. He's also the author. He was born on June 27, 1974, and when he was born, his doctor said, "Your child is mentally retarded. He'll never sit or stand, walk or talk. He'll never be able to distinguish you from other adults. He'll never read or write or have a single meaningful thought or idea. The common practice for these children is to place them in an institution immediately. Go home and tell your friends and family that he died in childbirth." Now, this was very shocking to me because I've never experienced or heard of a doctor doing that today. But Jason definitely proved his doctor wrong because when he was 2 years old, he went to a preschool called Westchester Association for Retarded Citizens, where he learned about the alphabet, numbers, learned how to walk and talk, and do other functions that other people could do. Also, he enjoys oil painting, playing piano, and playing the violin, which are all masterpiece complexities that people like you and I can do today. So if a doctor said he couldn't walk and talk and he's playing the violin and piano, he's definitely proving that doctor wrong. Lastly, he can sing, he has competed in sports, and has had many acting opportunities, including Sesame Street. So Jason Kingsley has been very successful throughout his years, and he's still alive today, and he's still having a lot of accomplishments. His mother said that she has learned the folly of attempting to predict a person's quality of life based on his or her label or condition. Next is Mitchell. Mitchell Levitz. He was born on April 10th, 1971, and his mom said when he was born that absolutely nothing prepares her for being told that her newborn child was less than perfect. The nurses seemed to be avoiding her, and she began to feel nervous about what was going on, and then her life was changed forever. Mitchell, at the age of 1, was enrolled in an experimental program called Early Intervention, which provided physical therapy for him, again, to walk and talk just like Jason. In elementary school, Mitchell played soccer for the American Youth Soccer Organization and was rewarded as a primary leader in this Cub Scout division. He even skipped the 7th grade and went straight into the 8th grade, and also has had a passion for politics and wants to be president one day. So as you can see, he has a passion and a drive to be in school and to learn along his non-disabled peers. Speaking of school, their school life, they shared pretty similar school experiences. For example, Mitchell regularly experienced negative peer pressure. Because he wanted to be socially involved in his school, he was very gullible and naive to the peer pressures that he was given. For example, he got in trouble a lot because he was heavily influenced by his peers who took advantage of his disability. He pulled a fire alarm in 11th grade and got suspended for 5 days. Also, Jason, a quote from Jason says, "As long as I learned and as long as teachers keep teaching me, it's no problem." And this just shows that Jason, under Mitchell's guidance, got excellent grades in his classes, both extracurricular and his core curriculum. He did very well because his teachers believed in him and gave him the opportunities that they gave every other student in the classroom. Jason was also bullied, but only in middle school, and he didn't take it the way bullying is treated today. He kept his head high, even though he was teased often, even though the R word was thrown at him daily. However, he remained confident in his abilities and himself, and he even graduated high school, something the doctor said was impossible to do. He even got a 99% on his senior final. Both Mitchell and Jason were driven because of family support, Down syndrome support groups, each other, and the support that they got in the school systems, because the teachers were very awesome of how they adapted their classroom to their needs. By those statistics today, I came up with some classroom implications, and one is to have high energy, positivity, and excitement while teaching. This is because students with Down syndrome are naturally optimistic, social, and eager to learn, and by matching this with our personalities as teachers, we can execute their strengths to their fullest potential. Also, to exemplify visual demonstrations as often as possible, it's because students with Down syndrome have strong visual learning skills, so visual demonstrations like illustrations, pictures, video, anything hands-on are effective strategies to instruct subject areas of curriculum for them. Do not hesitate to overuse positive feedback. This is because, again, students with Down syndrome are naturally optimistic and love hearing positive instruction and feedback. It's their drive to learn, and it's their drive to keep competing in the classroom, and it keeps them motivated and confident in their abilities and themselves. Allow processing time after instruction and stay patient. This is just because students with Down syndrome have an intellectual disability, so they process slower than students without disabilities. So just because they need longer processing time or a longer time to connect to the information that they were instructed, it doesn't mean they're incapable of doing it. Lastly, assign an appropriate role model for group and partner work. As I explained earlier, Mitchell was taken advantage of because he was gullible and naive, and he just wanted to be socially interactive with his peers. And so assigning an appropriate role model will allow students with Down syndrome to have that just a positive peer to show them how life can be and how they're normal just like everyone else and how they can learn just like everyone else. And it gives them a chance to be in group work and partner work without being made fun of or taken advantage of in some way. To end this presentation, I found an interesting quote by Jason Kingsley, who said, "Give a baby with a disability a chance to grow a full life, to experience a half glass full instead of the half empty glass, and to think of your abilities, not your disabilities. And then these are my biographies.